He murdered those people because he wanted attention and did everything in his power, leaving a long manifesto full of anti-gun and anti-black buzzwords and phrases, carving racial slurs into his weapons, not killing himself at the end to get it. And if you needed a better example, he streamed it on Twitch, and the media fucking ate it up. They put his name and face everywhere, so now he gets to go to jail knowing that people will remember his name. If you want to stop all these young, white, cis, straight males from shooting people up, maybe you should stop saying shit like all white people are racist or all men are predators and that the young white guys are the source of all of our society's problems. Because eventually, one of them decides that, oh, you think I'm a problem now? Watch this. Okay, first of all, this Peyton Gendron fella was not some starving Austrian artist sleeping on the streets of Vienna having a bad day because he couldn't get to art school. As far as I can tell, this fella came from a respectable upper middle class family and enjoyed a very comfortable upbringing, okay? I'm so sick and tired of people making excuses for white men. Well, as a matter of fact, men of color, like Asian American men, have been bashed time and again. You know, they've been called weak, nerdy, dweeby, patriarchal, woman oppressing, and all these things. And yet you don't see Asian American men going on mass shootings for this sort of thing, right? No. It's just like when Jordan Peterson, you know, when his fellow right-wing white Western men who happen to be conservative were not able to get girlfriends. Then he goes up and says that, oh, it's because of, because he couldn't get a girlfriend. That's why they had to go on mass shootings, and forced monogamy would solve that problem. I'm sick and tired of people making up excuses for white men, okay? We are tired. Society is tired, of constantly the blame, whenever a person of color does something bad, right? Nobody makes an excuse for that person of color, right? But when a white man does something bad, oh, he was having a bad day. Or maybe he was, he had a troubled upbringing. Or maybe he was mentally ill. Okay, here's the thing. Peyton Gendron was neither having a bad day, nor mentally ill, nor financially disadvantaged. Putting it very simply, Peyton Gendron was not a man who was lashing out at a society that was oppressing him, because he was not even oppressed in the first place. When he shot up those 10 innocent people, most of them were African American, he was not doing it to lash out against society in a fit of anger, or rather he was doing it as a way to tell African American people, know your place. Don't get too high and mighty, okay? Because, your place is picking my cotton. That is all. That is what he was trying to say. It's got nothing to do with him being disadvantaged or being misunderstood or being, perhaps just a man having a bad day. No. He was trying to send a message, It's just like in the time of the Spartans, the Spartans had a secret police force known as the Crypteia. And the Spartans of ancient Greece were extremely cruel people. Extremely cruel. Every year, the Crypteia would literally wage war on the Helots, right? The Helots were the slave class who were the original inhabitants of Sparta. And in order to tell the Helots to know your place, the Crypteia, the Spartan secret police, would go about killing, making an example of a couple of Helots every year. A couple of them, just to let them know Like, you had better know your place. This is what we're capable of doing to you, right? Honestly, if the number of African American people in America is the least of Peyton Gendron's concerns here. The least of his concerns. He's not concerned about the number of them. He's not even concerned about if they overpopulate the place. He is only upset because they're not playing the role that he, a white supremacist like Hitler, believes they should be playing. That's it. It's not about him being misunderstood. It's not about him having a bad day. It's simply about African Americans not playing the natural role that he thinks they should be playing. So he takes it upon himself, just like the Spartan Krypteia, to shoot up a bunch of them, to tell them, you better know your place. You better know that your place is as my slave or as my servant, and you better not, you better watch it, and you better just you better not act all high and mighty. It's kind of like when Black Wall Street in the 1920s. They actually had a Black Wall Street, but guess what? Mobs of white rioters literally went and burned the place to the ground and lynched people when they saw that these blacks were getting too uppity, right? That's the same kind of phenomenon you see with people like Peyton Gendron, right? And basically the commenters on my section, my YouTube channel, who feel, say things like, little Asian man, or pathetic Asian man, or you woman oppressing patriarchal Asian man, these men know that their place in the world is coming to an end. Rather, their position in the world as being the so-called master race is coming to an end. In a multipolar world, we have no room for any master race or any Übermensch or Untermensch. We have no room for that. And these people are lashing out, not because they are being oppressed. I don't think you can really oppress a white, Western, cisgendered, heterosexual man, right? But rather, these people are lashing out because they feel that their power is slipping away.